Ja, hallo Leute, in dem heutigen Video zeigen wir euch eine Bootstour, die wir gemacht hatten, und zwar im August. Das war so eine Architekturtour auf dem Chicago River und viel Spaß dabei.
Right, to put this building into perspective, I know that math doesn't math for some of you, so to put this building into perspective, 56 stories tall, 39-foot wide base. That's like taking me in human form at 6'3". Ladies, at 6'3". If I was this building, that's the equivalent of me standing on my big toe on top of a poker chip. So how does it really stay upright if that math doesn't matter either? Inside this building is something my engineers will know, that's called a tuned mass damper. And essentially it's a suspension system for the building. Within that building, suspended is about a 300,000-gallon water tank suspended and it was like in that building. When wind blows in that building in one direction, that's this swamp where nothing could grow was the Native Americans. Native Americans realized that nothing could grow here except for one thing. What they called that one thing was sheepdog water. It means striped onions. Leeks or ramps are the only thing that can grow along the banks of this swamp. Our city is now known as the city of smelly onions. Welcome home, man. Now, smelly and striped often for teeter-totter. Essentially, under each side here, there's about a 1,200-ton stone. That is the concrete that lifts all these up. I'll show you an example of what one of the lifter bridges will look like as we come back down. But as we come up, I'd like to add, especially this time of year, just a little moment of brevity to the tour. You see, Chicago celebrated, as some of you know, a very special anniversary about 2 days ago. It was the 20th anniversary of one of the most Chicago stories that have ever happened in the city of Chicago. You see, about 20 years ago, on a beautiful August day, on a tour boat, not too dissimilar to this, thing that could make that bad idea worse is if, and only if, and a 1 in a billion chance, a tour boat, just like this one, was going underneath the Kinsey Street Bridge at the exact same time. And that's exactly what happened. 20 years ago, I'm not going to tell you what line it happened to because I have friends that work on that line, but I will tell you the name of that line starts with a C and ends with a Chicago's First Lady. 1992 begins. What some of you may have heard is that the mob used to have a little bit of a go in the city of Chicago. They built underground mob tunnels to connect their speakeasies and the like. We did not know what all those mob tunnels were or led until as we were putting these pilings in the 90s, we found ourselves putting them in a little too deep, knocking into one of these massive tunnel systems and flooding just about every building that we are about to talk about for the next 30 minutes. That cost us $2.2 billion to fix. Back when $1 billion was a lot of money. Welcome back to the birth of Chicago. Like I said, Chicago's always been a working river. Okay? This is postmodernism. Postmodernism, that building, a postmodernist building should look cool in your skyline. But it shouldn't make any sense in your skyline because it should only make sense exactly where it is. And this is a brilliant example. Almost every bit of material on inside and out of this building is locally sourced from Indiana and Illinois. You'll notice the 2 shades of green on the glass. That represents the 2 shades of the Chicago River. As we get closer to the fresh water in the lake, the river should become a little cleaner and nicer. As we continue to push our sediment towards our friends in St. Louis, it's going to get a little grosser, a little murkier. Notice the curve of that building. Any guesses as to what natural feature right around here also has the exact same angle and degree of curve? The river. That building would look cool wherever he knew. Well, almost everything he knew. I feel like a class or two got missed in between here and there. One is boxy, one is square, the other is circular, stone and steel. The idea of these 2 buildings was to be the antithesis of the what he called corporate suburbs of these big, boxy, boring, square buildings. Those are called Marina City Towers. We'll see those again on the way back. As we come out from under, if you didn't get a chance to see the Champagne Bottle building, you're going to have an excellent view right up on here. You'll be able to see the east or west facing side of that rooftop. Speaking of rooftops, this isn't a rooftop bar tour, but I want to point it out. You'll see the London doing a lot of business. We financially weren't secure enough to support all that business. We needed someone to come in and insure that business. Thankfully, the London Guarantee Accident Company insured everything coming up and down the river. If it wasn't for them sort of sticking their neck out for a young city, maybe the river does not become what it has today. Now it is home to one of the best rooftop bars in the city. Was it not used? If you look behind you, you will see Michigan Avenue. Now, despite what many of you may believe, Michigan Avenue is not named after the greatest state in America. Michigan Avenue is named after the lake named after the greatest state in America. I only have to joke, Michigan Avenue is called Michigan Avenue because that is where the coastline of Lake Michigan used to be. The city begins formally prior to 1871 at Michigan Avenue. Chicago winters become Chicago winters, did not turn the water off or the fountain, which is why there's no running water, because every pipe under there has exploded. I wish that was the biggest screw up in the neighborhood, but I present to you what was supposed to be the tallest building in the Western Hemisphere. That's what you did. You might notice this construction site over here was supposed to be the Western Hemisphere's largest building, the Chicago Spire Project. Everything we've talked about so far has come to a head. Chicago's a giant swamp. If you want to build up, you got to build down. Big building, big down. 78 meters deep, we built the elevator shaft for this building. That's great, but Chicago's also a city of bad timing. We forgot to secure the financing to build up. As we were building the down for this building, and we were doing the forgetting in the year 2008, which, if you remember, was a lovely year for finance, building, and big structures. 17 years, that hole has been sitting there doing nothing. I don't know what it's going to be now, but it sure beats whatever it was. Guys, we've just come under Lakeshore Drive. This is what we fought for. This is what Montgomery Ward was fighting for. If I let you guys off the boat here, you can take this trail 14 miles south of here.